Hello Cancer, welcome back to my channel. This is Spirit and I Inc. tuning in with you. It has been a minute since I've done so. I took just a brief explanation here. I took a bit of a sabbatical to hone my astrology skills. I felt that that was necessary to do. I wanted to have a better understanding, not only for myself, but that I could express with perhaps better clarity to my viewers, clear and concise forecasts, forecasts that we astrologers do here on YouTube. They are generally speaking, and they are based off what we call the rising sign, because we don't know everyone's individual birth details, which would have to do with time, place, and date of birth. And so these are general overview forecasts. And this particular forecast has to do with the full moon that we just had in Aquarius on August 1st at 2:31 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. So these energies are still playing out for the next couple of weeks until we come into that new moon in Leo on the 16th of August 2023. And without further ado, it's just really wonderful to be back and to be connecting with all of you. Thank you for past, present, and forthcoming viewers that are tuning in. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to deliver these forecasts for you. I do hope that they resonate. Certainly understand once again that they are general forecasts. Not everything will necessarily apply to each of you individually, but certainly what does, take what resonates, and hopefully that will act as a guide for you. And what doesn't resonate, just leave it behind. And so that being said, Cancer, let's look forward here into your forecast. Again, this is for commencing from the 1st of August 2023 for the sign of Cancer, with the full moon in Aquarius that we had at 2:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please continue to adjust your clocks accordingly to where you are in the world. And for you, Cancer, that full moon occurred in your 8th house. And the 8th house has to do with, it's considered the house of transformation. Otherwise known metaphorically as, death and rebirth. It has to do with finances, taxes, other people's money, the exchange of resources between yourself and others, and hopefully from others towards you, because Cancer, you're always the one that's giving, aren't you? So hopefully, you will be the receiver and not the lender as we move forward with these energies here. And it also, the 8th house also has to do with connecting deeply with our soul, deeply with our spiritual selves, clearing out that which is, in the depths of us. It's considered even the house of, the karmic house that no longer serves us, giving ourselves permission to release what is not a part of us and perhaps never was, even if it's generational, other people's energies, and releasing that so that we can be of better service not only to ourselves but to others. And so you have that here with that full moon energy at 9 degrees sitting in your 8th house. And although there is a wide orb between Pluto and the moon, you do have Pluto straddling the 8th house as well, although it is still sitting in Capricorn, which is the 7th house, which has to do with relationships, bonded relationships at that, marital and or business associates and the likes. And Pluto, actually rules the 8th house. And so there's just been, perhaps for some of you Cancerians at this time, you've been using that energy to go deep within. As I mentioned, to walk away from no longer that which is aligned with you or perhaps never was, leaving it in the past and moving forward. And though you have an opposition with that's opposing the sun in Leo, it's you have strong you have a strong base in as far as your finances are concerned with the sun in Leo, which is your 2nd house according to these current transits. And so although there may have been some challenging times with resources and or investments and or even corporate finances for those of you that are in the corporate world, it appears as though that's smoothing out if it hasn't already. So the degree point of the sun is also 9 degrees. There's usually an opposition, you know, wherever the full moon is. So I would say lean into connecting with your spirituality as perhaps some of you Cancerians do, and that will help smooth any waters. You also have the support of Neptune in the 9th house. Neptune is considered a generational planet. Generational planets are the ones that are the slowest moving in our universe and in the cosmic world. And Neptune in its higher octave is considered the planet of higher spirituality. And it has a beautiful, what's called sextile. It's an aspect, a sextile connected here with Pluto, that planet that, you know, goes deep within, that rules the 8th house, currently where that full moon is sitting for you. So whatever you've been going deep within about Cancer with respect to 8th house activities, which has to do with, you know, death and rebirth, metaphorically speaking, walking away from what no longer serves or is aligned with you to you know, embracing the new. That's what the death and rebirth would be. It also has to do with, you know, inheritances and taxes and, you know, surgery in the 3D realm. Other people's resources. It also has to do with the occult, astrology, finances, corporate finances, banking. This is all 8th house arena activities that go on in this particular arena. And for those of you that aren't familiar with astrology, a basic understanding is that there are 12 houses in the zodiac wheel, and each house is ruled by a planet and by a zodiac sign. And the 8th house is actually ruled by the Pluto, which is currently in Capricorn, in you know, considering in your 7th house. So there could have possibly been, you know, for a period of time, particularly since 2008, that for some of you Cancerians, there's been deep changes within your relationships, bonded relationships like marital and or even business. And that's still perhaps occurring for some of you, but it is, you know, it will be fading out by next year, if not already for some of you. And so that's also, but it's being supported by Neptune, which is that beautiful spiritual planet when it's used in its higher octave. So that's something to bear in mind. There could have been some clearing there so that you're able to walk away from the old and embrace the new, of whatever that means to you, Cancer, whether that's, you know, investments, you know, walking away from old investments to embrace new investments. That could be an example of how this energy is playing out for some of you Cancerians. Additionally, we have Jupiter in your 11th house, and the 11th house is also considered a house of money, other people's money. It has to do with organizations and friends and acquaintances and groups and expectations, business contracts. That's sitting in your, that's the 11th house energy. And you have Jupiter, the planet, large benefic gas planet that is considered a highly spiritual and benevolent planet, even in as far as resources are concerned, Cancer. That's sitting in your 11th house, and it has a beautiful trine. It's a triangle called a trine. It has a beautiful trine, harmonious, and also considered harmonious energy with Mars, which is a masculine planet. It's considered in its higher octave a faith-driven action planet. In its lower octave, it's considered the planet of war. And we certainly do see a lot of that going on in the world, don't we? However, in this current transit for you, Cancer, where these energies are falling, it has a harmonious aspect between your 11th house and your 3rd house of communications. So once again, it would suggest to me that the energy that has been unfolding is you've been taking positive, spiritually faith-driven action, not only within yourself, but in your communications, to walk away from that which no longer has served you here, whatever this has been in your 8th house, associated with Pluto, you know, that which needs to be walked away from to obtain the new, whether that's having to do with investments, whether that's having to do with other people, whatever that means to you and however that's resonating. You've been able to move through that because you've chosen to come, some of you have chosen to come from a higher spiritual octave and enabling you to move through those energies in a productive and in a positive and healthy fashion, as opposed to a disruptive and volatile fashion, which could also play out because we have Jupiter also squaring the planet of communication, squaring Venus, which is the planet of love and finances, in your second house. It has since moved, but the energy may still be playing out there. It's a hard 90-degree angle, and that energy, when it's not navigated appropriately through a sense of calm, a sense of peace, a sense of higher understanding, it can be very volatile. And I believe most of you Cancerians, considering that you're very nurturing and very loving by nature, you would choose to not go that route if you can possibly avoid it, but staying in your Jupiterian energy with that beautiful harmonious trine to Mars, taking positive, peaceful, faith-driven action to renew and or realign to that which better serves you. 8th house arenas, once again associated with investments, other people's money, real estate even. That's another way that this can play out. Whatever your wishes have been from the depths of your soul to bring them into your 3D realm, into this physical world, has required for some of you Cancerians to walk away from that which hasn't served, whether that's a business relationship, a bonded relationship in a romantic sense, of this type of nature, because you have that Pluto straddling your 7th and your 8th house. So it could be associated with other people as well, professional connections, perhaps the desire to align yourself with that which is more your authentic self, and moving toward that. In order to do that, walking away from that which is no longer aligned with you. That would be another way to look at this energy. So that is the astrology portion of this forecast. I don't believe that I can expand on this any further. Those are the predominant energies that I wanted to focus on. They are positive. Once again, as long as you come from a higher place, a higher sense of consciousness, a higher understanding of knowing that this too shall pass, whatever this is. And for those of you that are really engaged with your spiritual connection, which is this 8th house, going deep within your soul, releasing the old and embracing the new, so that you can, fan the flames of higher knowingness, higher spiritual understanding. It has certainly served you well and will continue to do so, because you do have that support of that sextile from Neptune, another planet of high spirituality, when it's used in its higher octave of understanding. And how that associates with your relationship to the 11th house energies that I mentioned: money, other people, organizations, groups, contacts, and how you communicate with them, which has a beautiful harmonious trine, and coming and continuing to come from that place of peaceful communication as you move forward in that faith-driven action. So beautiful energies, quieter energies. Again, if I may suggest, do your very best to stay out of anything that could be, considered volatile, because that wild card Uranus, that brings up, it's the planet that brings up the energies of surprise. It can be beautiful surprises, or it can be not so beautiful surprises. But if you're in a position to step away from that and stay in that harmonious Jupiterian energy with Mars in your 3rd house of communications, and moving forward in faith-driven action, that would be my suggestion. And I encourage you to continue to do that, because you have Venus, the planet of love and money. Also, it's been traveling what we call retrograde, which is, the elusive energy of moving backwards. But when this happens, people from the past can come back. Finances can inflate, but they can also deflate when we don't use them appropriately. So just some energies there that you're looking at within your 2nd house, which is the house of security, self-worth, utilizing your creativity, how it can best serve you. That is being beautifully supported, once again, as long as you come from a peaceful place, putting your creator first, being governed by your creator, you know, those that have transcended into the higher realms, allowing them to guide you, and in so doing, creating abundant blessings for yourself, Cancer. So these are really beautiful energies between Jupiter, your 11th house, and your 3rd house of communication with Mars, and how that relates to all the healing you've been doing within that 8th house arena, which is going to the depths of your soul and releasing that which no longer serves you and moving forward. Again, whether that has to do with people, places, professions, and so forth. So wanting to expand on this forecast now, that's the astrology portion of this forecast. And so moving forward, I'm going to take a look at the oracle cards. We're going to start out with the Wild Unknown Spiritual Animal deck, and then we'll get some clarification through the Rider-Waite Tarot. I'd like to take this opportunity while I'm attempting to shuffle these large cards to say thank you to all of you Cancers that are tuning in. I do hope that the forecast resonates for many of you, and that you use it as a spiritual guide as you navigate, you know, forward in the energies that are currently unfolding for your highest and best good, and certainly and foremost always honoring your most deepest intuition. That's that inner voice that is your compass, and will serve you always best, and securely so for that matter. So I did want to express that. Thank you for those of you that have returned. For those of you that are new, it's a pleasure to have you join me on my channel, and I appreciate having the opportunity to deliver these forecasts to you. It's an absolute inspiration for me, and really uplifting energy for me, and I'm thrilled to be able to provide these for you. That being said, I'm going to cut the deck. If these forecasts do resonate, and I do hope once again that they do, that you'd be so kind to participate and like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It does help the videos to circulate and to reach others who perhaps are looking for the spiritual forecasts that I provide, and how it affects our 3D arena here on Earth. Generally speaking, that is. And thank you for all of those that are engaging to do so. Moving forward, splitting the deck, let's take a look at your most recent past energies, Cancer, your current energies, and your forthcoming energies, and then we'll get clarification through the Rider-Waite Tarot. First card out, we have the Bee Spirit, where we are awaiting sweet results. Beautiful energy. Have the power of the sun, which is the life-giving force, helping you to buzz along forward here as the bee does. And for those of you that have been making changes in your most recent past, you're looking for the sweet results of that to be forthcoming, and they certainly are and will be. That's what this energy of the Bee Spirit is currently depicting at this time. We also have the numerical number of 7 on this oracle card, and 7 in the spiritual science of numerology has to do with the divinity, being guided by the divine, and that's certainly confirmed here with the life force of the sun, as God is the sun. Beautiful energies. Current energies we have is the Horse Spirit. Beautiful in the upright. Freedom is yours. What a beautiful energy, Cancer. These are just beautiful energies. We have the numerical number of 33, which is considered a master number. It is not reduced. And this is an enormous confirmation of how you are wanting and or desiring to move forward freely, Cancer, in a very regal fashion, in a very sovereign fashion, as the horse energy and horses do depict. That's their energy, is one of regality. Horses are also the spiritual animal totem of Sagittarius. Sagittarians are known to, they're the centaur. Their glyph in the astrology zodiac is half man, half horse. And so perhaps some of you Cancerians have Sagittarian placements within your natal chart. Either way, you're moving forward in freedom and doing so with an energy that is incredibly powerfully guided by the sun, which is God. And you're doing so in a royal fashion as you are awaiting the sweet results of whatever it is that you are creating for yourself, Cancer. From whatever it is that you've manifested, you're freely moving toward it. Beautiful energies, Cancer. That's in your current energies. Pardon me, I have itchy nose. Third card out, in your forthcoming energies, we have the vulture spirit. And this speaks of nothing being wasted. So as you move forward in your forthcoming energies, for some of you Cancers, or hopefully for many of you, you're understanding that everything that all the wisdom that you've accrued through the years, personally and professionally, you're understanding that none of it has been a waste. The vulture is that death and rebirth. This is the 8th house. And it is also having the numerical number of 63, which adds up to a 9. And that's that Jupiterian energy, the 9th house, where Jupiter is sitting at present in your current transits that I mentioned. That's having that beautiful trine with communication and moving forward with that which you're creating anew in your life. You've allowed the vulture that rules the 8th house, Plutonian energy, to clean up that which hasn't served you. That's what the vulture does in our world. They fly around and they clean up the trash so that the environment is clean. And that's what you've done, Cancer. You've gone within your deepest environment, your soul, and you've cleaned up what hasn't, what has perhaps kept you bogged down through the years, even karmically. And you've gone deep within that to sift through it and walk away and release what no longer does serve you, or what you have learned from it. Now you are able to release it, and you understand that in doing so, that has not been a waste of time. It's been actually very beneficial for you, which is what the 9th house indicates. 6 and 3 is 9, and that's where Jupiter sits, and that's that highest spiritual energy, as Jupiter is higher spirituality and it's higher octave. So these are beautiful energies, and you're continuing to connect with this energy in your forthcoming energies, Cancer. Very beautiful to see. You have beautiful, positive. All of these energies numerically are that of divinity, God, the creator, spiritual, higher knowing and upliftment to create that which you desire in your 3D world, and seeing the sweet results that life force of the sun is helping you to grow. Just beautiful energies. Really beautiful to see. And I'm going to get some clarification with the Rider-Waite Tarot on these energies. And let's take a look at the bee spirit in the most recent past. And the recent past could be as recent as yesterday. It could be 6 months ago. It could be 5 years ago. Whatever the recent past means to you. But you've been moving towards sweet results and continuing to connect with your higher spiritual understanding through prayer and meditation to navigate and move toward that. Not only in your recent past, but as well as in your current energies, where you're feeling the freedom as you move forward into the forthcoming energies of understanding that it was not a waste of time, but if anything, it has blessed you in doing so, because it's allowed you to now have that freedom that you've been seeking, of whatever that means to you, and in the arenas that we spoke of, astrologically speaking. 8th house, the most deepest self, the inner soul, the death and the rebirth. Bonded relationships, business associates, marital associates for some of you, changes, transitions, renewal, restoration, new beginnings, freedom, all of the above. So clarifying the bee spirit, which is your most recent past energies. First card out, Cancer, we have beautiful, the Nine of Cups. This is the energy of wish fulfillment. You have these 9 cups, these 9 wishes, and all of them are in the upright, and all of them are in the throes of unfolding and coming to pass, coming true if they haven't already. Once again, the numerical Roman numeral is number 9, which has to do with the 9th house that we spoke of, where Jupiter sits. Jupiter rules the Sagittarius, and Sagittarius rules the 9th house, and it's considered the most benefic planet of the universe. In the 3D realm, benefic means, you know, financial abundance, luck. In the spiritual realm, it's higher spirituality. It's considered one of the most spiritual planets of the universe. And Jupiter, you know, everything that it touches, because it's the largest moving planet in the universe, it inflates everything that it touches. So whatever you are positively manifesting and creating for yourselves, Cancer, Jupiter is expanding it by 10, if not more. Beautiful energies, wishes coming true, feeling them already in your most recent past energies and desiring that to take into your current energies. Clarifying the 9 of Cups, we have the Page of Wands. Wands are indicative of, they're the element of fire. The wands are the elements that are known to be ruling fire, and fire are the elements that govern Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. And pages are considered messengers. So perhaps you have, some of you Cancerians have received a message with respect to this wish fulfillment, either in your most spiritual self or from another in the 3D world. But whatever the results are, they're sweet. And you're saying, thank you very much. This beautiful, beautiful energies, seeing them very powerful and very positive, and how they're moving into your current energies of where you're feeling free to move forward, and doing so in the most regal fashion, Cancer. This is just beautiful. Very grounded, very spiritual, very Sagittarian. Perhaps some of you do have Sagittarius placements, or you are associated with a Sagittarius that is helping you to, you know, feel these energies. Whatever that means for you, Cancer, and however it's unfolding beautiful. Just beautiful and regally so. Clarifying the freedom is yours, we have the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords in your current energies mean that some of you Cancerians perhaps have felt, you know, pretty tied up, you know, really desiring this freedom. Some of you are still working on obtaining that. You know, perhaps you've had a lot of mental concerns. You know, the swords are indicative of air, and air has to do with the mental realm, what's going up on inside of our head. Perhaps some of you have felt somewhat tied up, you know, or having some anxieties, but you're understanding that if you're staying focused on your spiritual wishes and coming from that spiritual place of connection where you want the sweet results to obtain the freedom that you're looking for from whatever has, you know, created anxiety for some of you in the most recent past, and perhaps still trickling into your current energies, you can move forward in freedom. You just have to release yourself from the anxieties, and the way you do that is through prayer. You know, it says in Scripture, for all you who labor, come to me, and I will give you rest. That's how I would discern of how to navigate through this energy. You know, that would be, I believe, in Matthew 11:28, chapter 11:28. It says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And the horse would be indicative of that spiritual Jupiterian energy. The centaur, leaning into that Jupiterian trine that I spoke of in the astrology portion of this forecast. Staying focused on your spirituality will help you release the anxieties that some of you Cancers perhaps may have with respect to, going deep within yourself and navigating through some energies of that 8th house that can be, they can be difficult, they can be challenging, but that you can come through them in a peaceful fashion if you stay connected with your Creator, God, prayer, meditation, whatever healthy forms of divination you utilize to uplift your spirit and cast the burden is what you need to do. That would be my suggestion. What you do, of course, is your own free will, but that is the guidance that is suggested here through these energies. And many of you, I believe, are already moving through this. I'm not feeling a great concern over this. Clarifying the 8 of Swords, we have the Knight of Swords. Here we go, in the upright. And the Knight of Swords, whoops, I beg your pardon, I'm dropping the cards. The Knight of Swords is I'm feeling the energy that the Knight of Swords is a message coming to you from your higher self, your spiritual Jupiterian self, the Centaur self, to say, hey, you can release the concerns because you have the Sword of Truth. This is the Sword of Truth. And you are moving forward peacefully. You're not going into battle here with anybody. You have no desire to. You want freedom from anything that is battlesome. And you are moving forward in that freedom in a sovereign fashion. That's what this energy I'm intuitively perceiving is projecting here. This is you deciding to take control of any anxieties that some of you Cancerians may have had with whatever it is that's perhaps challenging your, freedom to obtain the desires of your heart, your wishes, personally or professionally or both. And understanding that, maybe for some of you, you're still awaiting messages on that, whether that's spiritually or from another in the 3D realm, but they are on the way. You're feeling the freedom. You don't wish to engage in any sort of, continued mental anxiety over it, and as a result of you making that choice, you are being very discerning in your energies, and you're taking control of those anxieties because you're focusing on the spiritual aspect of your life to help navigate you, to help be your compass, to cast the burden, doing what you can and leaving the rest to God, the Creator, understanding that you were created to be the masterpiece. You are the masterpiece. You are not what the world expects and or you think desires of you. You're free, Cancer. You can choose to stay in the anxiety, or you can choose to connect with your higher self and move forward in freedom. And do so beautifully and regally and sovereignly. Moving forward into your forthcoming energies, we have the vulture spirit. As I mentioned earlier, where you're understanding that nothing has been a waste. Nothing has been a waste of time. And the card that popped out on that is the 5 of Cups in the upright. And for some of you Cancerians, it could be that whatever change, as the Roman numeral number 5 indicates change in the science of numerology. There's perhaps been some sadness connected with moving forward, with obtaining your freedom. There's been some perhaps whatever changes you made. For some of you Cancerians, if you're moving through any changes in your personal or professional arena or both. For some of you, it has, not only felt, a sense of anxiety, but for some of you there's been, some sadness, or you feel that it's been a waste of time. You need to remember that it's not been a waste of time. Nothing is a waste of time. Even though you may feel like that is, nothing has been wasted. And if you're feeling some sadness or, feeling forlorn over what you feel you have lost, and as far as your emotions are concerned, all you need to do is look up Cancer, and there's that beautiful castle in the offing that you're supposed to be moving toward because you're in direct line with it. And once you look up and see that, and you turn around and realize these two goblets of blessings here, these are the goblets from the divine. That's your freedom. And you're taking all that wisdom with you, that spiritual wisdom, understanding that nothing is wasted. When you look up, all you have to do is lift your head and look up, Cancer, and see the beautiful changes that are in front of you. And these two cups of love and wisdom are considered like a spiritual guide. They will continue to guide you forward. Honor your grief of whatever that may mean to you, and then understand that that which had to leave your life, or that you chose to walk away from, even though it has left you with some sadness, it's important to honor that sadness, but then to lift your head and look up and see the castle that you're moving toward. And the castle is the symbol of a brand new, solid, foundational, beautiful beginning, with the goblets of love and your wishes fulfilled right behind you here, supporting you. These are the blessings that you have, that you still have, Cancer. And you're to take them with you as you leave the rest of this behind, knowing that none of it has been a waste. That was a bit of a heavy message, but it needed to be expressed. Clarifying the Five of Cups, where you're moving through changes, Cancer. We have the Seven of Wands. And this is very positive in that it came up in the reverse. And in the reverse, it would indicate to me that you've chosen to leave the battle behind. Whatever this anxiety was that in your head that could have been the battle within yourself, you chose to leave it behind so that you could have your freedom. And that's what you did, Cancer. Whatever that means to you, freedom starts from within ourselves, connecting with our higher self, our spiritual self, the Jupiterian energy I mentioned. And in so doing, you're leaving the battle behind. You're not going into battle with anything or anyone, because you've done the work. You've already been through whatever sadness, or you're coming through it still. You're understanding that none of it needs to be wasted. You're welcoming the new beginnings here in the offing once you look up and see the new beginnings, and you're very thankful that you came from a spiritual place, because it avoided you from going into battle, which is that hard 90-degree angle square I spoke of astrology in the astrology portion of this forecast, where Jupiter is squaring, or excuse me, where Uranus is squaring your house of communications. That would be the air. The swords are air. You know, you chose not to go into battle in as far as, you know, communicating harshly with anything or anyone. And though you're still moving through perhaps some grief of whatever changes have unfolded that you connected with within your most deepest self, the vulture has been the spiritual guide in helping you clean up these arenas of your life that no longer serve you, whether that is a professional relationship, a marital relationship, the relationships within yourself that you felt you have no longer been aligned with, and releasing them, giving thanks to them, knowing that they have served you well and that they have provided you with an enormous amount of wisdom. Now you can leave the ones that haven't been of service to you behind. And as you move through that energy and you look up, you see your new beginning here, indicative of the castle, with the goblets of love and wisdom walking with you as you proceed into new changes, because you've decided to walk away from the battle of the mind, or the battle with others, or both, whatever that means to you. These are beautiful energies, Cancer, a little bit heavy, but that's what the 8th house would be indicative of. I have 4 8th house placements, so I'm constantly going through enormous changes, sometimes changes on a daily basis, in the most deepest realms of my life. And so I get it. I get how heavy these energies can be, but they are necessary, and that's what allows us to transcend into our higher selves, into our most spiritual self, that can be our fundamental and predominant guide for the arenas of our life that we wish to unfold. And when we do that, the greatest gift we obtain is our freedom. And it's beautiful energy, and that energy not only unfolds beautifully within ourselves, but it unfolds in the arenas of our life that we navigate through. We have the freedom to do so. And it's blessed freedom, because anything that comes from God is good. And, you know, God lives in all beings. God created all beings, and that's what this horse, this Jupiterian energy, is reminding you of, is that freedom is yours. It's just that you need to choose it. And that can be difficult. It can create anxiety, especially when there are others involved. But it is doable, and you do have the support of your Creator. So hold that energy, Cancer, because you're coming into, you know, beautiful new beginnings. With these 9th house energies. 9th house has to do with foreign affairs, travel, as we see here with the numerical number 9. The 63 reduces to a 9. And you're moving forward in freedom. Publishing, marketing, higher spiritual learning, higher education. That's all 9th house energy. That's where that Jupiter is for you. So stay focused on that. Lean into that whenever you're feeling, you know, perhaps some challenges within the mental realm. Release yourself from that so that you can be free to move through the changes and the wish fulfillments that are here for you, not only in the most recent past, but as they continue to flow through the balance of these energies. Stay focused on this. This is your freedom, Cancer, and it's called peace. And I'm going to leave it there for now. I will be back mid-month, Cancer, to provide you with a mid-month update for the new moon in Leo coming up on the 16th of August. Until then, Cancer, take extra special care. It's been an absolute pleasure tuning in with you, and thank you for tuning in with Spirit and I Incorporated. We'll see you soon. Stay in your freedom. Stay in your peace. Protect your peace, Cancer, and stay in your freedom as you gallop towards your future, because you know that nothing has been wasted. It's all good. We'll be back soon, Cancer. Until then, take extra special care. Spirit and I Incorporated signing off for now.